Hey folks, Layne here from YellowBox Careers, and we're talking careers. Now, last time we caught up, we talked about taking control back of our careers, and I want to talk about a couple of the primary reasons that we should really think about doing so. For a lot of the people that I deal with at YellowBox Careers, well, basically they're not particularly happy campers. In fact, if we have a look at the data tells us some really interesting things. Firstly, it tells us that depression in the workplace is up from 7% in 2007 to 36% today. On top of that, the research tells us that anxiety is up from 14% to 33% the same time period, and 31% of people say that they're suffering from stress. That's really interesting, isn't it? Another interesting survey showed that most people in the work environment didn't realise that they actually had a mental health disorder. Almost 3/4, 73% of men who scored in the clinical ranges for a mental health disorder were unaware that they had one at the time of the survey, and only 17% of them were getting help for their work-related condition. 50% of people said they'd find it difficult to talk with their manager, and 50% of people said that their workplace was actually mentally unhealthy. These are shocking statistics. There are some pretty big things that are driving this. Growing workloads were nominated by 60% of people as being a big contributor. Increased business expectations, 52% of people said that that was a problem, and short deadlines were mentioned by 37% of people. These are really big things that need to be talked about. We're not happy campers, and our careers are having a very significant impact on our mental health and our quality of life. They're having an impact on our relationships. They're having an impact on the way we socialise with other people. They're having an impact on the way that we communicate. I was talking to a group fairly recently, and they asked me what I do, and I explained my job to them and my thoughts on people being unhappy with their career choices, their environments, and people's general level of unhappiness in the work environment. A lot of people agreed, in that group in particular, a lot of people agreed that this was an issue for them. One lady said, "Say hello to me and all my friends." So if this is you, then something needs to change. If you don't love what you do, if you don't love and enjoy getting up every day and heading off to work, if you feel like your work has no meaning and it has no purpose, then I think it's time to make a few decisions. We don't live in a perfect world, so we can't always do exactly what we want when we want and how we want. But what we can do is we can begin to plan for this eventuality, and we can take some small steps in that particular direction. I think the first step is to ask yourself this: what do I want? The bottom line is that if I don't know what direction I need to head in, then I'm really relying on the external environment to make it happen for me. It's kind of the equivalent of saying, hey, listen, somehow, somewhere, or in some way, I can just outsource my career choices to the universe, and the universe will somehow bring them about. Well, wouldn't that be nice? But life doesn't work like that. It's your life, your story to build, and it's your choices that will determine what happens. In our last video, we talked about taking control, and the first step is to think about the destination. What do I want? When I've determined what I want, the next step is to ask yourself these three simple questions. What do I need to do? What do I need to have? And what do I need to have happen? In other words, what actions will I take? What am I missing that is really going to help me? And what has to happen around me to move me to where it is that I want to go? Pretty simple, huh? Till next time, make sure your day has a splash of colour, and do something today that's good for you. Take care.